Hello, it's Tuesday, so I'm here with another video. Hopefully I'm getting this out on time because I'm running a little bit behind, having had a couple of days off over the weekend. I also want to do a big shout out to Joey because we've all missed her, and I just want to say hi, and we all hope you're doing well. Hope to see you back soon, and we are all sending our love to you today. So we are looking at the love story, first of all, between Mr. Binder and Rose, who was originally Rose Tatting. So obviously they met and they got married. So in this freebie, we have two letters, one from Rose to Mr. Binder saying she's going to have to leave her job because she has been unwell for quite a long period of time, and she was very sad because she had a little bit of a thing for Mr. Binder. And then she was very thrilled to receive a letter back from Mr. Binder saying, you know, I'm really sorry you're going to have to leave. Hopefully we can go out on a little date, and please do call me Jeffrey. So obviously these are the letters and envelopes which I've already cut and folded. I do need to ink those. Okay, so I've just scrunched these up, I've inked them, and they are kind of done. But what I'm going to do is just use a couple of stamps. While I start the stamping, I just wanted to tell you that we have freebies on our Facebook group, on our Ko-fi, and on our website. The links are always in the video description box. Information for this freebie is at the end of the video, so please do watch, as we cannot keep answering questions on where the freebies are, but I hope that helps. I'm going to use this piece on here, like that. I might put a little bit through that as well, because you do sometimes get that. Now it's probably a little bit, possibly a little bit before the time, but I am going to add the little barcode to the back of this envelope, like that. And all I'm really going to do is glue these together because we have several pieces in the freebie today. So I have a few things that I would like to do. I'm just going to run a little bead of glue down here and a little bead of glue along here. I'm going to close that one up. Now, obviously, Mr. Binder is slightly more wealthy than Rose, so Jeffrey has put a 4p stamp on his envelope. So that's going to get there fairly fast. So that's that envelope done. And Rose only put a 2p stamp on hers. So let's just glue this together. Put a bit of glue here, bit of glue here, and I'm just going to put a little bit along here and a little bit along here. And close that up. So this is the start of the love letters between Rose and Jeffrey. And I'm going to tie these together with some string. Right, so let's start this way. We're going to wrap them like this. Not left myself a huge amount of thread here. Let's tie that in a double knot. Okay. So those are my little letters that are going to go into my box. And then I came up with a few other things, starting to think about what Victorians might have kept. And I picked up this little photo frame from a charity shop. It was £1. This is only very flimsy paper. I'm just going to give this glass a bit of a clean. Okay, so that's a bit cleaner. Just give the frame a little wipe round. Now, I don't know how far off this picture is going to be. So this is our picture. It's probably, wow, That's not bad. I literally just been out to the charity shop to find a frame. And the freebie has been done for a little while, but I think I'm going to have that a little bit, oops. So I would like that a little bit higher up, maybe there. So I'm going to turn that over, straighten that up. Let's stick that down. Okay, so I'm just going to trim a little bit off the bottom of my picture. And tape that. Right. So I'm going to slide that in. And then slide that in. Like that. And then this was here. And I suppose this is to hold it all in place. Oh, it is a bit wonky. Oh, okay. That's probably why this is here. It is a little bit wide. So I'm just going to hold that. Grab my tape again. And I think I'm going to tape this card to the back of that also. Like I said, this is a rather cheap frame. It certainly isn't one of much quality. I'm going to see if I can hold that in place. It's not exactly even. Let's see what it looks like when we get this back on. It's not perfect, but there we have the wedding photo of Jeffrey and Rose, also to go into our box. So we now have our letters and our photograph. Okay, and the next thing I was thinking of is when I was at the charity shop, I picked up this tin. It's a chocolate box. It was 50p. And although it will fit in my box, until I've finished, I'm not sure if I'm going to have room for it. So what I thought was, for the freebie, I would add, these are the little tins that I have shown before with my tin toppers. I have made a little tin topper assorted chocolate box, which I'm going to put onto my tin. It's sticking out a little bit, so I'm just going to trim that off. I'm just going to go over that. I want to go over that with my ink, so I'm just going to ink those corners. These do not have to be perfect. It's not going to be too fancy. I'm just going to glue this onto my tin. Now, I've sanded my tin and given it a wipe down. And I'm just going to burnish this down. If you wanted to, you could go over the top with glossy accents, or again, you could use some of the collage medium, nouveau glaze, anything like that. If you wanted it to be shiny, I don't want mine to be shiny. I want it to be dull, like that. Oh, a bit shiny in there, probably a bit more shiny than we want. So I've got a few little pieces of ephemera in here. This is from their first picnic. Rose picked some daisies and she dried those. So we've got some dried daisies. We've got some from their date. We've got the tickets that they went to London by the train. Now what I've done is, I don't know if you can see, I've roughed those edges up. So it looks like they were a pair of tickets. And I did that by, I'll show you on this side, put them together like that. Took my little hole punch. And then I just took out a few little notches, and I wasn't even when I cut them, and then just went over with my ink. So they could have been, well, they'd go this way round, they could have been cut out together. So that's their tickets from their trip. For another date, now on these ones I used my decal edge scissors. These were very cheap from Amazon. I haven't had a look to see if you can still get them, but these are the tickets for the show, and again we've got the 2 tickets next to each other, so they are in the tin. The butterfly I'm going to use for something else. Now you'll find this maybe a little bit grim, maybe not, but this is a little lock of Rose's hair that she gave to Jeffrey before their wedding, and they put it in this little tin afterwards. Now, just in case you do freak out, this is actually a little lock from the wig I bought for Halloween. It's not real hair. So there's that. And Rose also made herself a little pendant with Jeffrey's face on, and how I did this was I just printed this wedding photo a little bit larger, which I shouldn't have done. I wish I'd have left it the same size, but I used my 1-inch hole punch, and then I cut it down to the size I needed to make it for here. And then in the back, being Victorian, Rose has also glued a small amount of Jeffrey's hair, and this is a magnetic pendant, a magnetic photo pendant. I'm not going to open it because I've got cardstock in here to hold the images in either side. These are from Amazon, so that's going to go into my little tin. So that's their little chocolate tin keepsake, which is also going to go into my box. Now, the last thing I want to make today is I have been trying to come up with a use for these. Now, they do say you get what you pay for, and you do. I bought these really cheap ink pads from Amazon, and they are just a piece of plain sponge, and you're supposed to be able to ink with them, and they are absolutely terrible. But they did remind me of the Victorian Specimen boxes that they used to use. So I think I got something like a 10 pack for £8 or £9. I can't be sure because I've had them a long time, but I am going to use one of the butterflies from the Freebie. I hope I've cut out the right one and this is not too big. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll the wings a little bit of my butterfly so they're not so flat. I know they're going to flatten down a little bit when we do this. And I kind of come up with these because I thought these looked a little bit like those Specimen boxes, but I don't know if you remember me using those coin capsules a few years ago in a video, and I thought these would be equally as cute. So, and no animals will be harmed. I'm just going to grab my alcohol inks, and I'm looking for something lighter, like latte. That would be perfect. Now, it may well absorb up on my sponge. It probably will. But I'm just going to go around the edge of my box, because on a lot of these old specimens the glue is kind of seeps in a little bit. I'm going to put a tiny bit around the box like that. Oh, my handle just fell off my drawer. Pants! There's one of my There's one of my bits. I'm not going to be able to shut this now, or I'm never going to open it again. Got a little dabber here. Probably going to get myself covered in it, because I usually do when I use alcohol inks. And I should put some gloves on, but we finished the last of our gloves very recently. So I'm going to dab around here. Okay, that's perfectly okay. We've got enough there. And just push that aside so it dries a little bit. Now I've got some pins, and I want a tiny one, but it is going to be too long. I'll grab my pin, just going to put that in and see how far we've got. So we've probably only got we've got a very small amount of space. So I'm going to use my clippers and just cut the bottom off that pin. And what I'm going to do is I'm just putting that in a tissue over the side here, and I'm going to wrap that in tape in a minute so it doesn't cause any damage. Yeah, that's still going to be way too big. Right, got to cut a lot more off there, unfortunately. Right, so I have got a teeny tiny piece of pin, which may or may not work. So I'm going to take another pin and pop a hole in my butterfly like that. And then I'm going to put this pin, which is now I've got this little bit of pin that I'm going to put in that hole. Okay, like that. Now I was going to put a little label on the top, but I'm not sure I'm going to have the space for that now. So I'm just going to line that up for a minute. I know it's not quite in the right place, but what I want to do is just make sure this lid is going to close. Yeah, well, just about. Now, whether or not this is going to work, I don't know, but I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the bottom of my pin. And then I'm just going to hold that in place for a minute. I don't know if it's going to glue or not. Right, not quite what I was hoping for, but I'm going to put a little bit of glue on this sponge and see if I can just hold the wing down there and this side. And put a little bit of pressure on that. But obviously it was a pastime. Unfortunately, it was done in Victorian times. It was quite a popular thing to do. You know, it's not something I would ever do. Not exactly what I was thinking, but it doesn't look too bad. Could have done with a little label. Let's have a look and see if I can find one. Okay, so I have found this teeny tiny little label. Like I said, it's going onto sponge, so I'm not sure it's really going to work. Slide that under. Well, the butterfly's held on quite well, and the pin is quite sturdy as well. So I think we can glue to this sponge. And there is our little specimen in our little specimen box. Probably a little bit too much alcohol ink in there as well, but it's okay, it's okay. Okay, so the freebie today, I've made several things. Maybe a draw. So I've made my little Victorian specimen with a butterfly that was collected on a trip that Rose and Jeffrey took. We've got our little assorted chocolate box, obviously that Jeffrey has given Rose. We've got Rose's little keepsake with her little picture, wedding photo in. We have the little lock of hair, very Victorian. We have the pressed daisies, the dried daisies that Rose has collected on their first picnic. We have the tickets where they've gone to London town. We also have the tickets for a theatre visit. And they go into that little keepsake chocolate box. These were all things that I was thinking, what kind of things did Victorians do and collect? So we have those. We have our wedding photo of Rose and Jeffrey, and we also have a couple of love letters from where their relationship started off. So these will all go into my box, and I hope you enjoyed the freebie and the makes today. If I do have space, then I will be changing my chocolate box for this one, but I've got a feeling my box is going to be rather full. So I will see you all really soon. Take care and thanks for following along. See you soon. Bye.